Hey everybody, welcome back to Race of History. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We are going to do a tiers list for empires. I did a run through of this earlier. I did not use all of the empires because there are literally a million of them. Um, but it's basically going to be not necessarily who was the best, but who did something better, like then top to bottom, right? So God tier, A tier through D, and then the bottom one is who, which I feel like is kind of hilarious. But all right, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you can see, there are literally a ton of them on here. Um, let's see. Let's start at the bottom with who. Um, Abbasids, Achaemenid, Edrin, Axum. Assyria will probably be close to the top. Um, Austria-Hungary can go D. Um, Austrian Empire will. Ooh, I'm gonna have to come back to that one. Belgium will go D. British. British, I'm gonna go A. Okay, so here's my thought process on British, all right? Because I'm probably going to have people mad at me that it's not at the very top, and I'm going to probably have people mad at me that it's not way further bottom. Here's my thought process. The reason that I have it higher is because it dominated a large part of the world, at least economically, for a pretty long stretch of time, right? Now, militarily, obviously, it doesn't hold up with some of the other empires on this list. That's why I don't have it at the very top tier, but that's kind of my thought process on that. Um, let's see. Byzantines. I'll go with a C. Danes will be my first two. Um, Golly, I keep looking at a bunch of them and am trying to work them out in my head where I want them. Golden Horde will be a who. Carthage. Carthage will probably end up being a D, but I'll wait on that one. Ancient Egypt, probably an A. Ancient Egypt was dominant and technologically advanced for a long stretch of time. So I feel like they've got to be up high. Um, let's see here. Assyria. Assyria completely dominated their region of the world for their time period. And the way that they got taken out was that they basically got jumped. Which happens, right? You keep your boot on the throat of a bunch of different states for long enough, eventually they're going to get rowdy. So I've got Assyria up high because of how dominant they were. Carthage. Uh, Carthage is an interesting one. We'll go with C. German Empire. German Empire, I'm going to go with D before everybody gets mad. The reasoning for it, yes, it was militarily dominant and it dominated the region for you know, when it became an empire and even right before it became an empire. However, in historical context, the German Empire lasted 2 seconds. So I've got it down pretty low. Um, let's see. This is hard. Because there's an argument for all of them to be up high, and there's an argument for really all of them to be low. Macedonia is going to be my first god tier. Um, obviously, you're looking at a very specific time period, but in that very specific time period, nothing could match it. Literally nothing. Let's see. French colonial empire. That one's interesting. Where did I put that one earlier? I think I had it as a D. I had Japan. Japan's going to be the first B. And here's my thought process for Japan. They were a really small power that just smoked larger powers. So B for Japan. Really, Japan's kind of one of those surprisingly dominant. I mean, it's short term, but golly, they were so small. Um, all the Chinese dynasties. Holy Roman Empire. Okay. This is when I did the run through earlier, this was the one I had the most issue with. Um, I think I initially had it at a D and then ended up moving it all the way up to a B. I'm going to put it there right now. I may move it down one before the end of this. Um, let's see. Serbian Empire, that goes down at who? No offense, but I mean, if the German Empire is getting docked points because it didn't last very long. Um, Tonga. Tonga. I think I'm gonna do Tonga at a B. No, that's too high. I'll go to a C. Um, you could probably get a tell off of this, but I have a little more like I don't know. I guess I respect it a little bit more whenever the power is not really that big. Um, Aztecs, Babylon, Brazil's gonna go in who? The Mongols. It's my second god tier one. Obviously, the Mongols speak for themselves. Uh, Ridiculous. Mongols go up top. Golden Horde goes down at the bottom. It's the fake Mongols. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Abbasids at a C and the Austrian Empire at a C. Obviously, I have the Holy Roman Empire as a B. I'm I'm real I'm really iffy on that one because I don't even know if the Holy Roman Empire really even qualifies as an empire. What's Voltaire's thing? Uh, the Holy Roman Empire is not Holy Roman nor an empire. That's really kind of true, but I'll allow it. Um, the Seljuks. The Seljuks are going to be an A dominant power. The Seljuks were. Um, the Ming, I think I'm going to go to a B. I think I'm going to do a Achaemenid at A. Okay, so the Achaemenid Empire is massive. I've got the first Chinese dynasty as the Ming at a B. And I think I'm going to put the Han there as a B too. Where did the Han go? Let's see here. There it is. Han goes down as a B. All right, so I've got two Chinese dynasties out of the way. I'm going to put the Ottomans up at an A. Yeah, I'm going to put the Ottomans up at as an A. Obviously, super dominant power for a pretty prolonged period of time. So, let's see. They're an A. The Swedes. I've got a lot of Swedes on this channel, so don't get mad at me. Actually, I'm going to put the Swedes at a B. And here's my thought process. Like I said, when a power is smaller, you get a little bit more respect from me. It's a little bit harder historically, I feel like, to be able to form an actual empire whenever you're relatively small. So, the Swedes are going to be a B because of how small they were. Majapahit. British Raj. You're going at the D. Babylon. I'm going to do a B. That's probably just bias because I like the Babylonian Empire. It certainly can't be higher than Assyria. Yeah, I'm gonna do a B. Let's see. Parthia. Parthia is gonna be a C. Rome. God tier. Obviously, right? I mean it's Rome. Um Man, these Chinese dynasties are killing me. There's so many of them. I've still got the Yuan dynasty. Um Man. So I'm gonna do the Yuan at a D. Where did it go? I'm gonna do the Tang at a C. And I'm gonna do the Qing dynasty as a B. I think that's right. Yeah, so I've got the Qing dynasty or Qing dynasty. I've got as a B. They last for what, 400 some odd years, basically up to the modern day. Um, I've got the Han and the Ming in the B tier also. I've got the Tang dynasty lower because of just the absolute shit show that China turned into after. Um, and then I've got the Yuan dynasty down at D tier for the same reason I've got the Golden Horde down at D at the Hu tier, basically because the remnants of the Mongol Empire are eh. Um, let's see what else. I've got the Aztec Empire. I think I'm gonna go with a C for the Aztec Empire. Um, it's probably gonna drive people nuts, but Spain's probably gonna be even lower than them. Let's see. Georgian Empire, I'm gonna go with a D. Russia, Russia's kind of a hard one. Where should Russia go? I think I'm gonna do D for Russia. It could probably be argued that these Russia, French colonial, German, those could probably be argued higher. Although, honestly, I could argue both sides of basically all of these. Poland, Lithuania, B, the Commonwealth. Earlier, when I did this and was talking to people on Discord about it, I had Poland, Lithuania down at the very bottom. And I said the reason for it was because I just played EU4 as Poland or as the Commonwealth. And they drove me absolutely nuts. So I was being kind of petty about it. But, alright, so they're at a B, Aztecs at a B, or at a C, Russia's at a D. Napoleonic Empire. Let's go with C. No, honestly, that one would probably be higher too if it lasted for longer. It just didn't last for very long. I'll do Bulgarian Empire as one of the Who ones. Uh, Mexican Empire is definitely going as a Who. Um, let's see here. The ones I have left are hard. Man. The Gupta Empire, the Gokturks, um, the Inca. Where should the Inca go? Probably as a C. No, probably as a D. And then we'll do one more. We'll do Tibet. Down there at the bottom. Okay, so this is what I've got. I've got Macedonia, Mongols, and Rome at God tier. At A, I've got the British Empire, Ancient Egypt, Assyria, Seljuk, Achaemenid, and the Ottomans. B is Japan, HRE, the Ming, Han, uh, King, Babylon, Swedish, Polish, Lithuanian. C, I've got Byzantine, Carthage, Tonga, Abbasids, Austrians, Parthia, Tang, Aztecs, and Napoleonic. D, I've got the Austro-Hungarians, Belgians, Germans, French colonial, British Raj, Yuan, uh, or Yuan, depending on how you say it, Georgian, Russian, Incan. And then at the Who tier, I've got Danes because, everybody on my Discord is a Swede. I've got not everybody. I've actually got a couple Danish people over there too. But Golden Horde, Serbians, Empire of Brazil, Bulgarian, Mexican Empire, and Tibet. I feel like that's a decently good list. Like I said, I could argue almost any of these up or down. And I'm still going through my head, kind of arguing with myself up or down on a lot of them. But a few that I think really stand out. The German Empire, like I said, it's around for 2 seconds. The Russian Empire, I guess, but I mean, Russia sucks during that time period. Not during the whole thing, but through a lot of it. Um, let's see. Belgian, I don't really want to get into that mess. I did a video on the Congo a while back. Uh, Again, Napoleonic Empire, super dominant. If it was just over, you know, short term dominance, it would be up at the very top. But it lasted for literally a split second. Ottomans, super dominant. Polish, Lithuanians, pretty pretty dominant for the region. Swedes, super small. The HRE. I could literally argue the HRE should be one of the top ones, and I could argue it should be at the very bottom or not even on the list. That's the one where I'm like, I literally don't know what the hell to do with it. Japan, tiny, does real work, ends up taking up a whole bunch of the Pacific. Um, let's see. The Seljuks, obviously. Assyria, like I said, just so dominant for the region at the time. Kept major powers under heel. And I think that's it. Obviously, Macedonia, Mongols, and Rome are at the very top. I don't really know how those couldn't be. You could maybe say there should be other ones up there with them, but I feel like those three are, I mean, kind of self-explanatory. So, all right, that's the tier list. Uh, God tier through the Who tier. So, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Help me keep building the channel over here. I'll put a link to the Discord down below. Put in the comments what you think about the tiers. If you think I made some mistakes, if you would move things up or down or put different ones in, let me know. But I'll see you all next time.